What's up guys, I hope you're having a good day. It's your gaming dude and welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about a $3 CPU. Now the CPU I have right now is a Core 2 Duo E7500. It's a dual core CPU released at 2009-2008 and it was meant to be a budget CPU for a price tag between $100 to $165. I mean, it's fine the way you see it 8 years later and still Intel budget CPUs are i3s, which are dual cores locked CPUs, but the only advantage the i3 have over the Core 2 Duo is the hyper-threading and it has better IPC, but that's not an advantage in my opinion. That's the way thing goes. The Core 2 Duo is a really old CPU while the i3 isn't. So I just wanted to see how capable that CPU is. I thought I'd get better performance than I got, but I was kind of disappointed. We paired the Core 2 Duo CPU with the RX 460 and we had 4GB of RAM. I didn't do overclocking because I thought that a lot of you would have an OEM system, and in OEM systems you cannot actually overclock your CPU and you also can't upgrade to a Core 2 Quad. The majority of the OEM systems cannot be upgradable to Core Quad CPU, and the Core Quad CPU is actually a quad core CPU. You can tell from its name. If you don't know that, it's really good for gaming. I haven't tried it yet. I think I'll get one soon. You should consider getting a CPU like Intel Xeon LGA771 L5410. It's a low TDP CPU, and the reason why Core 2 Quad CPU doesn't work on the OEM systems because it's over 80 watt TDP, and this one has somewhere between 50 to 65 watt TDP, so you can give it a shot for like $5 to $6. And yeah, I guess the frame rates that you look at right now isn't the representation of the frame rates that I've got. I said again that I had this footage on the old hard drive and the hard drive failed on me, and yeah, I didn't want to put the GPU in the Core 2 Duo system again. So let's get it with the worst game I've tested. Number one was Skyrim, and I got an average of like 7 to 11 frame rates per second in the opening scene. I tried every single preset I can and I still got about the same frame rates. That's an open world CPU intensive game. That's not a good experience, not a playable experience. Rise of the Tomb Raider was the best game ever tested in this video, and I've actually got over 30 frames per second in the opening scene, and in some scenes I got somewhere between 11 to 24 frames per second, but my average on the built-in benchmark was like 24 frames per second. Anyway, it depends on the section you're playing at. It took like a solid 10 to 15 minutes to jump from a section to another section in the built-in benchmark tool, so I don't know if that would affect the gaming experience itself when you get into the gameplay, but again, over 30 frames per second in some parts, 24 to 15 frame rates in other sections. For Cry Primal I got actually a really good experience. I was playing at low settings, very low settings, 720p, and I got an average of 24 frames per second. I know that with overclocking I could have got more frame rates, but yeah, it is what it is. I haven't overclocked it and I could easily get 30 frame rates. Maybe you wanna check out Random Gaming in HD's video where he paired the Core 2 Duo CPU with the GTX 1060, but keep in mind that the GTX 1060 have like barely double the performance of the RX 460 for double the price. So yeah, the GTX 1060 is a really powerful GPU. Was severely bottlenecked, but it still got better frames than the RX 460, which is what you'd expect. Last but not least, we're looking at Hitman Absolution, and again I used the built-in benchmark, but when I actually played that game I got like 28 frames per second in some sections. The benchmark tool isn't the best representation of the frame rates you'd get. We are just looking at average frame rate, and in this case we still got 24 frame rates per second. So yeah, we kind of got a playable experience. I just realized I was kind of loud, I'm sorry. And yeah, that's the benchmarks. So what we've learned from today's video is do not go cheap on your CPU. Get a CPU that will not bottleneck your GPU, and the Core 2 Duos are not good for gaming unless you would pair it with a GPU that will not be bottlenecked that much. And that's it for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed. I still hope you're having a good day. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.